So just a few weeks ago, Maximum Football 2019 came out for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and many people really dove into it, whether it's with all the recruiting or the awesome logo creations we've already seen to this point. Some people have already recreated conferences. It's amazing what these people can do with the time and effort, unlike me. But anyway, so there are some good things about this game, but there's still things we would like to see. So this is our letter to you, Canuck Play, of things we want to see in Maximum Football 2020. We know there's limitations, so my list at least is a realistic list that I think there might be some that stretch a little bit, but things that we could realistically possibly see, if not in the next game, maybe another game after that. But stick around, drop a like, get subscribed, don't forget to turn on that notification bell, share this video, grab a cold one, and let's party. Alright, so this is my wish list of top 10 things I would like to see in Maximum Football 2020. But let's start off with number 10. Number 10, depth charts and stat tracking in-game. Anyone that's seen me stream these games, or even in my review, there is pretty much no depth chart in this game. Number 10 is depth charts and better stat tracking. Now, I put these two together because, let's be honest, I ran out of room on this list, and they kind of go hand in hand, just because they're UI improvements that need to be done. In Dynasty mode, you can change your depth charts here, and the depth chart system, while you can kind of get used to it and understand it, it is not very simple, and you really have to go in a very weird way to get through the things. It should be labeled position by position, and that would make it much more seamless and a much more intuitive way to do so. Going into a game, the depth chart, there is none. I mean, unless you want to fix everything by formation. And as you can see on screen, the formation depth charts are impossibly hard to read. So you're kind of guessing here or assuming you know what the depth chart order is. Now, doing this by formation it's useful and it should be in there still, but there should be a global depth chart option within the game itself. So if I want to replace my quarterback for the entire game, I don't have to go individually by formation to do so. Now, stat tracking, there is no stat tracking in game whatsoever. When you're playing a game, you only get a couple options when you press the pause menu. As you can see here, you just see maybe pass yards, rush yards, and of course your first downs and time possession. That doesn't tell the whole story. If you're like me, you like going through player stats within the game, so you can kind of build up maybe that story in your mind. Maybe a quarterback is on the brink of breaking a record, and you have no way of actually knowing that without a true stat tracking system. Now, Axis does this very well. You get in-game stats while you're playing, and on top of that, you get a global statistical overlay. When it comes to the pause menu, you can actually go individually and look at everyone's stats by position. This is something that Maximum needs to absolutely do because it's a pretty basic thing in every sports game. Number 9, a better replay system. Now, Maximum does have replay, which is cool, but admittedly it has some flaws. The biggest being is you have a finite amount of time to actually look at these replays. After each play is over, you have an option in the bottom left corner, and it'll correspond to whatever system you have in terms of what button you press, but you only have a few seconds to do so. And the way they need to fix this is easily just like any other sports game. In the pause menu, have an instant replay option that you can always view until the next snap happens. This will allow you plenty of time to go back and look at your replays, make sure you capture the footage you want to capture, or even just sit there and break down what happened, what went wrong, or maybe just look at that awesome touchdown you just had. Now, that's what I got. Number 8, the ability to manipulate stock logos and community creation. So this is kind of the customization part of the list. Now, the stock logos, there are some really good ones. And in fact, I've already seen some people mentioning that they're going to be getting custom like mini helmets of the logos that are in the game because that's how much they really liked it. And I think that's awesome. Whoever did the logos in this game did a really good job. However, these logos are, as claimed by Canuck themselves, PNG files. So what that means is they're just a picture put in the game. So with the PNG file, you have the ability to have a transparent background. So it works really well with like a helmet or the field itself, and just in general, anywhere you put that logo. So you don't have like maybe a black box behind it or a blue box behind it or a white box behind it. Now, I would love the option to customize parts of these logos, and anyone that watched me try to make the Blue Mountain State logo saw how much I was struggling because there's some good logos in there that would just have fit perfectly, but the color scheme just wasn't matching. Here's my proposal to you, Canuck Play, instead. Give us maybe 4 to 6 options of each logo that have a different color scheme to it. So if I want a black and red bird, for instance, I have that ability to do that. Maybe if I want that bird to be blue and orange, I can do that. If I want it to be green and gold, I can do that. Like, I think they need to have a couple options color-wise so it would work for every team I'm, trying to maybe come up with. I think this would be a good step in the right direction to, simplify the whole logo creation process, because for me, I like doing these kind of creations. Yes, they're fun, but it can be a little tedious sometimes. Maybe I just want to, play the game I bought instead of spend all this time creating logos when it took me 3 hours to create this Blue Mountain State, logo. And it sucks. All right. Now, community creations is something that if you're a fan of the WWE 2K series, you might be familiar with. So in community creations, you can go to the 2K website, upload a picture, and on the game itself, you'll be able to download these pictures. Now, 2K has a lot of money, we know. So they have the ability to have these servers with all these pictures from all these users to just sit there. Now, Canuck Play, a reason why they don't want to do something like this is not only the legalities of it and keeping up with copyrights and stuff like that, but the servers. The server is a big issue and why this would be a hard thing for them to implement. I don't know how realistic it is, but maybe there's a way you can have a private server for a user. So say I want to upload the Packers logo, for instance. And if I do that, I can upload it, but I can't upload it to the internet. So meaning, like, if I upload it, person C over here can't use it, person D over here can't use it, only me, only on my system. This, I think, would bounce off the copyright issues, and moreover, we could look at maybe a finite amount of time to sit in a server. So if you upload a logo, you have 15 minutes to pull it and download it to your system. This would, I think, create the freedom of that server and not allow it to be backed up or have exorbitant costs associated with it. Better UI and play art. And again, this is kind of just a mashup thing too, because play art kind of has to do with the UI. The UI in this game is pretty slow. That just needs to be fixed. I mean, make it snappier. Axis just blew Maximum out of the water when it came to how snappy it felt to actually navigate everything. I felt like I was waiting less playing Axis than it was Maximum. Every time you go through a different screen, you're waiting on loading times, you're waiting on, frame rate or whatever the case may be. Especially editing players, that's abysmal. Now, play art needs some work, all right? Again, going to Axis, it looks clean. I know exactly what's happening. I know who's blitzing, I know who's dropping the coverage, I know who's playing man, and I know who's running post routes, I know who's running a seam, I know who's running drags and stuff like that. It's hard to read. It's really, really small, all right? It's a problem. People hate it. People want that fixed, and the actual play calling mechanic of going through the formations, it just looks like it wasn't finished. Like, you had all the options. You had your aces, you had your gun formation, you had your single back formation. It just doesn't seem, coherent. Just kind of looks like it's just plop, 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 just placed there. All right, moving on. Recruiting improvements. Now, Content Update 2 is coming out, and I mentioned I was going to be doing a video regarding the Content 1 update for Xbox, and I waited for that to drop, and it did. However, the day it dropped, they announced Content Update 2, so it's like, maybe I should just wait until it happens. But one thing they didn't announce in Content Update 2 is that recruiting is going to be fixed a little bit, meaning a lot of the times you'll see the top, 200 players all want to go to the same 3 schools. Now, I can get where you might have, your top 3 schools in the country that are good, but just because, you got the top 3 running backs, maybe they're in the Southeast region, and they're like, you know what, Georgia, that's where I've wanted to go my whole life. Cool. That makes sense. Southeast region, Georgia's a good. Georgia has these 3 players that want to go there. Makes sense. They're from down there. Now, if I have the number 7th running back who lives in, let's say, Nevada, is he going to really want to go all the way to Georgia? Or is he maybe going to want to go to UCLA or USC or somewhere a little closer to home? Like, that should be something that is a factor, right? Now, this is going to be fixed. So top 3 recruiting teams that you always see that are always the same, that's going to be fixed. That's awesome. But recruiting in general, that's just going to be a work in progress and understanding. So continue to improve that, make it much more in-depth. Going in line with that, oddly enough, is have a tutorial. There's a lot of people jumping into a college football game for the first time, and this is probably completely weird to them, like, meaning they have no idea where to start and what to do and how to do it. having some kind of tutorial or Canuck Play going out there with a video of their own or something like that, and maybe they have and I just missed it, but they need to make recruiting easier for the new people. And everyone was a new college football video game player at some point, and recruiting and scouting and all that stuff can be a very difficult thing to understand, and just the dynasty process overall. So redshirting, what's redshirting, and stuff like that. So continuing to improve the recruiting aspect is good because this is what this game's all about. That's what college football games are all about. That's the whole appeal, is the ability to recruit. And of course there's other stuff on top of the college experience as well, but that's the biggest facet, especially of a game like this. Number 5 is create an athlete. And you figured in a sports game you have the ability to create someone, right? This causes problems when you're trying to do the player editor. So if I'm trying to mimic the Wisconsin Badgers here, I really have to take some extreme liberties in doing so. So if I got, Jonathan Taylor, I need to make him, what class he is. But if I only have the option on the team I pick of nothing but freshman running backs, I'm kind of screwed in that regard. Now, if I want that realism, and maybe I want Jonathan Taylor for another 4 years, that'd be great, but he is not a freshman, so it'd be kind of outside my realm of realism. And there's reasons why they said they couldn't allow you to adjust the year of the athlete. Okay, whatever. But ability to create a student athlete, I don't see what the limitations of that is. I mean, if the concern is, well, he's going to recreate Jonathan Taylor and use his likeness, how am I going to profit from that? We have these games on our own. There's no online aspect to these games, so this is all local. Anything that might appear for, like, say, content creator like myself using a likeness would be just in maybe videos like this or just streaming. And yes, you can technically profit off advertising dollars or Patreon or Streamlabs donations or whatever the case may be, but we're not profiting specifically off of these players. We're not creating these games and releasing them with Jonathan Taylor on them. We should be able to create athletes. Maybe I want to create myself, but I can't do it. I have to go with some random player and just edit him and make them look like me. All right. Number 4, the option and play call adjustments. Options are pretty much non-existent in this game. They need an option mechanic. The ability to pitch the ball would be, pitch a ball that doesn't, fly behind me 35 yards would be a great start. And that is also being fixed. It is fixed. But point is, options are the pinnacle of playing on the field when it comes to college football. Having the option, if you will, of all option plays that you can possibly pick specific to a certain playbook, that'd be a great start. But that's not exactly my biggest complaint. Is on-field adjustments is what my complaint is. So if I read a blitz coming from the front 7, so they're overloading the box, and I know that they're going to bring all 7 of those guys, and my tight end is going to be sitting there blocking, maybe I want a hot route and send him on a quick seam, and as soon as it snaps, as soon as I get the ball, once I've dropped, boom, hit the tight end on a hot route, boom, he's off to the races. I want that ability. I cannot do that in this game. I could maybe call an audible, but say the audible changes to a different formation, the play art doesn't follow them, and it gets all weird, and I don't know, that's got a whole another thing that needs to be fixed. But I need the ability to adjust my routes individually, and I get that's a pretty big implementation too, but it's necessary. And also, defense. There are no audible options. So if I recognize an all-out, let's go with a Hail Mary. So you got streaks on both sides of the ball, or not on both sides of the ball, on both sides of the center, and they're all going to be running, but maybe I have a zone coverage which only allows me 2 guys going deep. That's going to be a problem because I'm going to get burned because there's 4 guys coming and I only have 2. And maybe I have a corner blitz at the same time. I need to be able to adjust on the fly, meaning at the very least let me audible into something else, maybe a better man-to-man coverage or maybe a cover 3 protect. I need to be able to do this, but I can't. And maybe having like the ability to say, maybe I want to bring that extra linebacker and bring him in on the blitz. I don't have that ability to do so. So just adjusting that kind of part of the game, the on-field adjustments, that needs to be done. Number 3, one of my complaints in the initial review of this game was the sounds of the game. There pretty much are none. This game is probably the quietest game I have ever played. And I mean why? And it's a sports game, and typically a sports game I like to have maybe something else in the background, or maybe I'm listening to podcasts, or maybe I'm just listening to music in general, because they're gonna say the same thing every time, but which is gonna be kind of weird when I get to my next couple points. But The sounds of the game are just too quiet. This is a college football game. I need a college football experience. Fight songs, where are they? They're nowhere to be heard. I mean, you get like a little drum beat, maybe every now and then, boom, done. The thing is, there are plenty of artists out there in the world that would love the exposure and are probably pretty cheap to get to license their music into a game like this. You can probably get just some random marching band at some random high school in Canada to create a couple fight songs for you. And that would help the immersion, the ability to know that, hey, this is a college football game, and it feels like it because I hear the band playing and I hear the crowd noises getting crazy. The crowd's pretty quiet in the game. Rain's kind of a cool touch. You do hear rain when it's raining. And the PA announcer is very quiet. First down and 10 on the 25. And he's not whispering, but it's really hard to hear, and there's no way to really adjust the sound levels either. Brings me to my next point. Number 2, announcing. And Access, God bless their little hearts, they got Terry McGovern back from the NFL 2K series to do announcing for them. However, the editing and producing of that announcing was, put it lightly, bad. All right, not good. But the fact of the matter is, there is announcing. That's cool. That's an immersive aspect of a football game, or any sports game, to be honest. Again, same thing with the fight song aspect. There are PA announcers or, play-by-play announcers that are willing to maybe get their name out there, and they want to have that exposure like a game like this could have on their career. They will gladly do it at maybe peanuts, And the thing is, this helps the immersion of it. Now, I can get why announcing might be way too hard to do, like a play-by-play announcer. That could be kind of a thing that you may just not want to focus on either. But at the very least, the PA announcer needs to be more immersive, have a much bigger presence, because it really feels quiet, and the presentation gives you a very CBS feel, which, hint to my very final point, which is cool. But how am I looking like I'm watching a game on TV, but I can't hear a damn thing? Give me someone to announce the game. PA, play-by-play, whatever it is. PA announcer is too quiet. Let him have a bigger role if play-by-play is just too much. Number 1, licensing. Now, Doug Flutie, that's a cool step in the right direction, but admittedly, you really have no idea how to use Doug Flutie unless you really went in there and found out for yourself. But licensing, I don't mean players, I don't mean schools, I mean like presentation-wise. You already got the CBS aspect when it comes to the score overlay, or at least it looks like it. I wonder how much it would really cut out a cost to say, hey CBS, can we borrow your score overlays and some of your overlays and maybe license you for our game? Now, I get asking CBS or a TSN, which might be a little more suited to the Canadian team, would be probably impossible for a big time name like CBS or TSN to say, all right, let me look at your game. Oh, okay, no, we don't want our name on it. I get that, cool. But maybe we get to a point where that is a possibility, where CBS is like, cool, all right, let's include that. But at the same time, if you get licensing from, like, say, a CBS, you're not going to get announcing too. It's going to be one or the other, I think, because if there were to be announcing, it would not be someone that Canuck would hire. It would be someone at CBS would be like, all right, we want our guys to do it. We'll help you with the sound part of it. We need our guys to do it. But I don't think that would happen, because that cost will just begin to start going up, because then you have to get these actual professional announcers to come in and read a crap load of lines, I would assume, because there's no way CBS would be like, all right, here's some announcers and make it sound like Access Football. They're not going to do that either. So I think licensing would be really cool. I get the unrealistic part of it, and I did mention there's maybe some that are stretching a little bit, but at the very same time, maybe create a network experience, because there is no overlays to this game besides the score overlay, and that's kind of, to me, I lose immersion out of it. I like playing these games as just true simulation experience, pretty much like I'm watching a football game, but I happen to be controlling every single player. I love that aspect of certain games, and Madden's definitely lost some of that because EA has this access to ESPN, but for some reason, they just aren't really using it for their NFL games, which I don't get. Maximum, change that. You have the ability to create a really immersive college experience and come up with maybe licensing. Okay, too hard, sure. Create your own network. 2K did it, and it worked out. You're like, welcome to the 2K Sports Network. Terry will tell you all about it, and give me that immersion, all right? Announcing, better sounds, all that. So that was my wish list, and it's time to talk about yours. All right, so here are a couple that I picked out that I really like, and it kind of maybe either piggybacks off of something I talked about, or it's just on top of what I came up with. Just great ideas in general. So what did you think? Are my wishes just a little too unrealistic? Are they the step in the right direction, or am I just way off base? What about the communities? Did you like theirs? Do you have additional comments regarding that? Leave your thoughts below, drop a like, get subscribed. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because YouTube makes it just a little harder for people to know that I have a new video. All right? Yeah, you. Yeah, you, YouTube. All right. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you. At me on Twitter at PartyBall and on Twitch. And also join the Discord. That's a thing. It's down in the description. Click it, boom, you're in. You're into the party. All right. Until next time, party on.